Okay. Phil Horst, Mrya, Rikarda, Wosling, Jolien, Tobi, Miram, Berna, the soloist of the Israeli opera production of Wozek. Phil, who is Wozek?
Wozek is, he's sort of he's an everyman, but he's not quite as smart as everyman. He's a regular guy, but things keep happening to him, and he can't do anything about it. He's maybe schizophrenic, a little not so smart, he's poor, not fortunate, and the world just sort of conspires to make his life miserable. And finally, at the end, he breaks, and you'll see what happens.
Is this right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a veteran. He's someone who has suffered through war. We don't know which war, but we know that has deeply affected him. It's affected his relationships with other people. He has no money of his own. He's completely reliant on the whims of other people, to the officer who he shaves, to the doctor who experiments on him like a guinea pig, all in his attempt to keep his life going and to give money to his partner, his wife, and to support a child. And it's hard stuff. It's about the reality of life, I would say.
It's not smart. He has a very rich inner world.
He has a very rich inner world, yes.
He's a good man, but ironically, it's this goodness which is his downfall, because all the things he does contribute.
I know some very wise people that things going down in their life because they're very sensitive, I think.
I think he's deeply sensitive.
He's deep and he's sensitive and he's kind, but he's not necessarily kind.
He's not an intellectual, I would say. I think he's somebody who feels things very deeply, but the great frustration I think he has is that he can't usually express his feelings. He has to bottle them up, and only as his personality begins to break apart do these really serious things start pouring out of him, and we see a different side to his character which is normally hidden away.
Yeah, but the pressure is extreme. Pressure on him from everybody.
Yeah.
And he tries to be good and to do the right thing towards everybody, but it's just extreme.
What do you find it in?
Sorry?
What do you find it in?
Marie, I think because he is good. He tries to be good. I think the other men she has been with are much more using her or abusing her. I think he's the first one or the only one who is who tries to take responsibility towards her and the child and creates a kind of a family idea, even though they do not really succeed. And Marie is not really happy in that structure, but he at least tries to give her a safe, you know, he comes and gives her money. That's one of the most tender moments when he says, there is money, I got some from the Hauptmann, and I got some from, you know. He really tries to give her a safe home, and I think that's attracts her.
He tries all the time to give his best, and he's not successful. To everyone, he really tries to give his best to her.
I think the tragedy for Marie is that he's not really able to fulfill her needs as a woman, and sometimes that has led her to, she has natural desires. And as we were saying before, the kind of irony is that it's only at the end of the opera that he really becomes the man that she always hoped he would be.
Yep.
And that's
when he kills her.
Yeah,
when he kills her, yes. I think she's kind of taken aback in the moments before he kills her that he really has become a much more complete person in her eyes. Somebody who is much less inhibited.
When he's finally in control.
Yeah, he's kind of lucid.
But before that, he was the safe choice because he was responsible.
Yeah.
Love? Does it exist in this world?
Between the two?
Between the two, between anyone?
Between anyone. It's always double. I mean, even Marie's love to her child, where you would actually expect real love, and even there it's very double, because the child on one hand is something she feels a lot of tenderness for, but on the other hand it's what imprisons her the child, in fact, is the reason that she has to be with Wozek and stay with Wozek, and that she cannot be free and young, and that she's actually a powerful woman with many desires, and who tries to free herself, but she's in a very, like everybody, I think, in the opera, it's kind of, everybody is in a way imprisoned in his life, I think.
It's a kind of opposite or antithesis of what we understand by opera normally, that this is a piece in which love only exists in fleeting moments because people who are struggling in their lives, struggling to have enough to eat, struggling to keep everything together, don't have time for romantic love very often.
It's a different love. It's not a romantic love.
Yes, it's a different kind of love, and it's examining the kind of bits of humanity which remain when so many other things are lost, almost. I think that makes it very powerful.
It's like you say, if I had money, I could love, I could be tugendhaft, as you say, you know.
Virtuous.
Yes. These people are struggling so hard to get things work that they are not free to be romantic.
Yes.
An hour and 40 minutes, no break. Is it a tough road to do that?
I would.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't
know.
I think it is.
From my own experience, yeah, I think it is, because it's it's a huge opera which has been condensed. It's one of the most extraordinarily intense things where never a moment passes that doesn't seem necessary. So it's really like the most wonderfully intense brew of emotions and thoughts, and so I think probably it really just sweeps you along as a performer, and also I think as an audience member as well. If you're open to it, it will take you on a journey, and I think that's something very exciting. About
Well, it can take a toll
Very
on you.
essential.
It can take a toll on you, I think.
What kind of journey is the audience in for?
They're in for one of big emotions, of dark emotions. It's not an easy journey, but it's one which is very truthful, I think, and which really is incredibly touching as well.
It's like being brave as an audience, and being brave as an artist. And I think Berg was very brave to take this piece and write it so brilliantly, and to go through this journey, through music, through emotions, through this I say inner world, the inner world, that it's so complicated and so full of colors. Between a man and a woman, between a man and a man, what he has with Anders, and this very fine emotions that he gives. Wozek keeps the place for them, but the people around don't keep the place for this fine tuning. But he has a very fine tuning. He's like working with a zzz all the time. But they are all thinking he's lost because we are all usually, because of this life, because of this struggle, we are not fine tuned, and he is, and I find him, and this is why he's so lost.
I think the audience should be prepared for a journey that's not maybe what they're used to. It's sort of, as your comment earlier, Jules, about being the anti-opera. It's different in a lot of ways. It's extremely groundbreaking. It's maybe arguably the most, or definitely one of the most important operas of the century, of the past century. And you're going to see and hear things that are so strange and dark and bizarre, both in the harmonic language and just the themes and things like that. It's not something that, it's not the bark and bark Italian, with a pretty melody that's sort of a lighthearted, improbable story.
Although always balanced by the most exquisite moments.
Oh, it's exquisite music, it's just different.
I mean, we haven't actually mentioned that so far, that the music is so wonderfully descriptive of time and of atmosphere, and heart-rending at certain times. I mean, it certainly has all the punch of any great romantic opera. But yeah, it's really extraordinarily beautiful, as well as treating these heavy, very adult themes about the point of life.
It's pure theatre in each moment. And well, it's a challenge for the public to hear the beauty in the music, I think. And it's because it's so truthful. I think that makes it so beautiful.
But there's not a note, when you study it, the more I'm just getting to know this the first time I've done it, the more you look at it, it seems like there's not a note that couldn't be there because it's some interwoven theme from somewhere else in the opera, or it's following some. He almost created a new language, and it all makes sense. It's not just random notes. And it's amazing once you get to know. But you have to let it wash over you, and maybe with different ears than you might have listened to some romantic.
I think if somebody comes with an open heart to this, they will be borne along. If they don't know the piece already, to places they hardly expected to experience in an opera house.
Yeah, and the fact that it's atonal doesn't mean that that the music doesn't make sense. And if you hear it for the first time, it might seem difficult, but I absolutely suggest that people listen to the music before coming to the theatre, maybe, if they are not used. But if you really are open to it, you discover so many things. There are so many themes coming back for Wozek, themes for Marie. One thing is the poor people we are. Wir armen Leute is a theme that comes back a lot because it's very important in the play that these people are really struggling in their lives. And I mean, it gets more and more realistic for all of us. We are in a situation where life gets more difficult and harder and really takes a lot of energy of all of us. But yeah, just to recognize the themes that there are in the music and the way Berg uses also a lot of old forms like fugue and other things. It's wonderful to discover that, and not easy to discover that all in one night. So I would also advise come back and see it more than once.
The best way to cut. Great, guys.